Welcome back, traders. This is Sandra with Trading Made Simple, and today we are going to talk about support and resistance. We're going to talk about a couple cool indicators that you could put on your chart to help you with support and resistance. And if you're liking this type of content, please like, subscribe, and share. I really do appreciate it. You guys are really helping me with my channel to get it out there, and I really do appreciate it. Subscribe because I have new videos coming out all the time. Okay. So let's get to it. So hey, I want to show you some really cool indicators that are going to help you with support and resistance. And then we're going to talk about, like, what do you mean support and resistance? You know, I wanna trade a breakout trade. I want to trade a breakdown trade. And if you've been trading last week, this week, you know how difficult trading this week has been, because we've been going up and then down and then up and then down, and then we actually break resistance for a moment, like enough of a moment to get you sucked in with your calls, and then boom, a red candle happens. And then you're thinking, well, you know that voice, well, maybe, I think it's going to turn around. I think it's going to turn right back around. And it doesn't. And then you got to get out with a loss. And then you're waiting for the next breakout and it happens. And you're doing this over and over and over again. You cannot tell me that it hasn't happened to you. I wanted to bring over yesterday's chart because I think yesterday was a perfect example of this type of range that was just driving you crazy. And because I don't have any of my trend pivots on that line, I can't show you that. Shoot. So the thing about these trend pivot lines, indicators, as well as this simply the best trend indicator, is that they're basically on your chart, on any ticker, on any time frame, only for the time frame that you are dealing with. So if I move to a day chart, you can see, then now I can go back and I can see what the support and resistance is. And I'm not drawing the lines. The indicator's drawing the lines for me. And isn't that sweet? Because do I include the wick? Do I not include the wick? Should I be going through here or here? So this kind of helps you with that. And I know that you are going to love it. So the first one is the trend indicator. Trend pivot indicator is what I have called it. And so let me take out the simply the best one. That's a joke I have going on because for some reason it was named the best. So here, right here, is just the trend pivot. It's one of my favorites. I've had this on my chart for years. I love it. And the reason is because it's pretty basic. It's going to give you the pivot high, pivot low. It's going to give you a horizontal as well as a vertical trend line. And it's simple. And you know how I like things simple. Now, I just have an EMA up here that's 21, nothing too fancy. So I have a very clean chart here. I do have up here, though, our wave indicator. This was specifically made for Trading Made Simple. We have another one called the Bullseye that's really cool. But anyway, in any event, so what we do here is it allows us then to see where price is going, right, and where the support is. And what you want to do in this type of strategy really is you're wanting not to trade when price breaks below the trend line, but you actually want to trade when we are at the trend line basing. This is perfect because, by the way, this is Tesla on a day chart. Today is Friday the 21st, and we're almost at the end of the day. And you can see that Tesla came down here on October 14th, actually makes now a double bottom. This is actually the third bottom. And this area right here is not breaking. So, you know, that just goes to show you that as of right now, this is holding a support. This would be a nice little area, right, to do a bounce, to get where? At least back up to the mean. And the mean really is your trend line that you're using. Doesn't have to be the 21. It can be the 50, or the 9, whatever your favorite is, it's fine. Whatever works for you. I always say, if something's working, keep it. If it's not working, let's talk. So, as you can see on a really shorter time period here, if I was intraday trading, I'm typically using the 1 and the 5. And when I do that, it can then now allow me visually to see a really nice vertical trend line. I don't have to worry about if I drew it properly or not. And then you can also see that there's the horizontal trend line, and it acts as support and resistance. Now, both of them do. The vertical and the horizontal act as support and resistance, gives you a nice visual to know, are you going to be playing the breakout or the breakdown? Now today, it's been just a melt up. But if you were trading this week, you know exactly what I'm talking about, with price getting, breaking through resistance just for one candle. And then it would turn around and come back the other way and, basically fake you out everywhere you went. And so when you identify those periods of time, then not a bad idea just to utilize support and resistance trading versus the breakout trade. And it's so simple, because once you have the trend line, and you can actually play both ways, right? You could say, okay, well, I'm gonna, trade a put when it goes down. If it actually breaks up, like today is a very strong trending day. We love trending days versus choppy days. And so if it does break out, it's nice and clean. I'll go ahead and take it to the next trend line. And you can actually use this as a stepping stone for the breakouts. But if you're noticing you're being faked out all the time, after a couple times, you're going to know that it's a difficult market. And in a difficult market, you're going to want to wait for price to get to your support, or wait if it gets to resistance. And then you can then identify with price, you can identify a stop loss that's tight so that you are not risking a lot of money for the thesis of, hey, wait a minute, I think there may be a breakdown. And so that's how you could utilize this type of amazing indicator to help you in your trading. Now, what's another really good indicator that I like? Well, I was actually helping someone in our Discord out, and then this one came up. And so the joke is, it's simply the best. Simply the best trend line. This one I've identified. What I did is I changed the color so I would know which one is the trend pivot and which one is the simply the best. And so what I did is I just changed the coloring to gold. And what I like about this one, it does give you more trend lines. As a matter of fact, you can actually program it, customize it by going into your studies icon, going into your best support lines, into your gear shift, and you can see that you can actually put a lot more or a lot less max lines on your chart. Could you imagine having 8 of these on here, as if we needed all of that? But in any event, I think you get my drift. I just took one down. So you could see how it made a different type of trend line for a different period. And so I kind of like that. So if you become a little bit more advanced and you're okay with the trend lines and they're not bothering you, this one actually puts down, which I do like, a nice hard line that's giving you the current trend based on the chart that you're on. So if I was I keep wanting to say simply now. If I simply want to trade a 15-minute chart, this now gives me that nice hard trend line, right? Telling me where we're going. It also gives me this flag that says, this label that says, I'm below on a 15-minute. Why? Because, and it gave me this arrow, and it's because I broke the trend line. So nice little indicator, right? To just kind of wake you up and say, hey, why I made it blue, I have no idea, but you can go in there and customize it any color you like. Here's a 2-minute chart. I know a lot of people like that for some scalping. So on a 2-minute, you can kind of see where we were going. where we came from, and now where we are headed. And here's the current trend line for where we're headed. And you can see that the label says above the current trend. Now, these are just a couple of my favorite trend lines. However, there are so many different types of support and resistance that you can use. And I just want to throw a couple out at you. I'm going to remove the trend lines so we have a clean chart. And I just want to let you know that I'll be including these URL trend line amazing indicators in a comment that I'm going to post with the video. And the reason it's a comment and not in the description is because YouTube, for some reason, makes it hard to post URLs in the description. But you'll have all my contact information in the comment so that if you have any questions, you need some help, you can contact me directly anytime. All right, so what else do we have? Well, if we wanted to go to a bigger time frame chart, let's do an hourly. Give us a couple days of what we've been doing, where we've been, and from there we can kind of scroll out a little bit and say, okay, we actually had some pretty decent resistance right here. We have two of these, so we could go over here, excuse me, and get the Fibonacci tool out. And we can go from here and then go to the bottom over here. And then we can kind of see now some support and resistance really based on Fibonacci. And you can see how we, came down, and this last move here from a couple days ago is at the 50%. And why is the 50% so important? Because a lot of pivot moves, the next day when they recover or when they reverse, you've probably heard that they go approximately 50% before they start backing off to do another reversal. If they go to the 618 and they surpass the 618, you now have a trend change, and you could be making a new pivot high. So knowing that you have some tools here to help you visually identify where the trend is, where it might be going, right? Could help you. There's another kind of cool Fibonacci tool that's located right next to it, and that one's called the extensions. This one's called retracements. This one's called extensions. So it's as if you are looking for, hey, where's this going to be going? So let me remove this. I'll show you how it works. So you usually take a couple pivots back. So let's just go over here to this high up here, and we'll go to this low here, and then we'll go to this high here. And you can see that if this would have continued down, it could still possibly, if this doesn't break this little area right here, this still could possibly come down to the 78.6 level, right? Now it's just a again, it's just a tool. It's not a fortune teller, just a tool to kind of help you see what certain moves could do. You could also rearrange that. Let me remove that. Let me put a larger time frame on here so we could kind of go through that. So we're going to take a much longer time frame. Go to the lowest low here. Go here. You can see that, the zone that for Tesla would have been around the 173 area. But I mean, come on, we went to what's the low there? The 202, so we're $30 off. Could this still head down? Well, on a day chart, when we take a look at that, that could be a double bottom. That could be still heading down. There is a possibility. You never know. And then you can also take the last three, do the same thing, right? On a shorter period of time, do the same thing. And it shows that, hey, look, we've already come down to that level. And people like that 2618 area, showing them that that's actually a very measured move there. They call it a measured move. So you could see that we might still have a little bit farther down to go, but we'll just have to see. In any event, that is a support and resistance tool that you can use not only just to see support or resistance, but you can identify certain key areas of Fibonacci that a lot of people like to use. And why do they like to use that? Well, a lot of these people that are programming all the algos, they use Fibonacci amongst other tools. That's why when you go into your studies and you go check out all your studies, I mean, this is just a portion. This is not even, this is not even all of them that's been created. And so there are a lot of different support and resistance tools you could use. So there's a couple. Anything that's regarding support and resistance often revolves around pivots, because pivots are key action to what's happening. So you have Woody's pivots here. That is a mathematical, it's a pivot that's based on, what just happened here? Let's see, where did I put it? I thought I just had it here. Let me put that on there real quick, Woody's pivots. And let's change this to like a 15-minute. And now you can see the 3 resistance levels. You can see basically the pivot area or point of control area. You could see we're right at resistance for Tesla. And you can see the 199 level is identifiable to this area. So if we went on a day chart, we could see that 186 is identifying pivot low here. 186, 194, and 199 being those lower support areas. And then the point of control on a day being around 207. And then you can see we are already hitting 1 resistance level, and now there's 2 more above us. So kind of a neat tool to be able to quickly put on your chart. If you wanted to look at it with these being lines, you just need to go over to your studies and just remember that, all of these tools have customizations that you can utilize. And it looks like actually the daytime is the shortest level I can get with pivots, Woody's. But if we went to, let's say, a 4-hour or a 1-hour chart, you could see how that looks. Much cleaner to be able to identify, hey, are we going to get to that next level over at 221 here, or are we going to come down and then maybe go up? Oh, if I had the secret 8-ball. And then, let's see, what else do we have? Oh my gosh, there are so many in here. If you just type in pivots, often you'll see a lot of different, what is this, pivot points. Let's take a look at this one, get rid of Woody's. Yeah, this one's called pivot points. I haven't seen this one. It looks so similar to the other one that we were using. Oh, yeah, that could make me dizzy. But that actually looks nice, doesn't it now? Similar to Woody's, but a little different. Also, shows you previous day lines. That could be helpful. And another good one. So I certainly hope that these types of support and resistance levels help you in your trading. And don't forget that breakout and breakdown level strategies are not the only way that you can trade. And if you're trading this way and you're finding that you're getting faked out all the time, just remember what I said. Just do a little mind shift and say, okay, when it gets to support, I'm going to buy a call. And when it gets to resistance, I'm going to buy a put. So if you have any questions, my contact information is in the description below, probably where the comments are, where the URL to these amazing indicators will be. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you in the next video.